Hello and welcome back to today's video. Today we're working on Betty, the 4VT powered F-150. I haven't worked on this truck in a while, mainly because it's been pretty solid for the last few months. Well, aside from my little transmission mishap I had back in November, but I had a spare transmission I put in. It's been good since, so I don't drive this thing to and from work anymore. I used to, but then I usually have a daily, and that's my daily now. But I use this thing for doing just truck stuff, like hauling crap to the dump and picking up big parts and whatnot, going off-road with it. This has got the solid axle under it and everything, so I just use it for truck stuff. Sometimes just cruising if I don't want to drive the car. I mainly drive my daily just for work, really. Or if I need to haul extra passengers, like if my friends go out somewhere. But a little noisy this morning. But basically what I'm doing today in this video is we're going to service the front axle on this truck. I need to check the gear oil, make sure we got gear oil in it, check the condition of it. It should be fine. I don't use this axle a whole lot. Or I don't use four-wheel drive a whole lot. We really haven't had bad weather to justify using four-wheel drive, and when I do use it, it's in the mud, off-road. I still haven't even re-geared the front axle to 410s. Re-geared the rear axle, but not this one, so I need to do that at some point. Anyway, so what I want to do is I have a new grease gun I want to break out, and I'll probably do that at the end of the video. I usually use the pneumatic one, but the pneumatic one I have is a pile of crap, so I just bought a normal, or fancier but normal hand pump one that uses the bigger cartridges. So we're gonna grease the front end. We're actually gonna re-grease the rear axle or rear drive shaft. That needs to be done. I want to get the outer ends, the wheels off. I'm gonna do a tire rotation while we're here. But we're going to take the outer ends off the axle, and we're going to re-grease the wheel bearings and just grease up the lockouts and everything, and just make sure that's all good. In another video, we're going to work on the 4VT. I need to do a valve adjustment on it. It's been rebuilt. We finished rebuilding it end of October, I think, last year. So we need to do a valve adjustment. It's got about almost 3,000 miles on it. Let's see, any play? Nope. Well, that's good. So I got this transfer case in the back of my truck. Apparently it's full of fluid, and it has rust prevented my bed. So went to Home Depot I don't know, a couple months ago with this. And I picked up a screw, and I could tell I just picked it up in the parking lot because the head of it was just barely scratched, and it was sticking up kind of high. I got this part of the axle on a stand, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this tire over on the rear driver, and this tire will go there, and then that one will go here. This is feathering just a little bit, but I have my toe set in just a tiny bit. So we need to make sure we rotate them regularly. I'm actually going to get my gloves. Well, we've got a coil spring here. Shocks that are loose. I've got these new shocks over here for Greta. But I kind of want to get rid of this dual shock setup and just run one shock. All our steering links look pretty good. They felt pretty good. I got to do something with my track bar. Man, you know what? We didn't really have to trim that much off the... well, I guess maybe we did because the pumpkin's going to come up and I moved my axle forward. Never mind. I've actually thought about just cutting all this back out and putting factory buckets in. But if I did that, my spring would be back this way because I moved these buckets are pushed forward a little bit. Oh, I need to tighten that up. Never did that. I'm surprised it didn't come out. I only have a pair of these. Now, like I said, these are actually for Greta. The junkyard truck. These are actually, all these are way too long. I'll save those for Greta. But I'm kind of thinking we'll take this front shock out. Because I'm okay with how this one is. I'll keep the rear one. I think later right here we'll put a strap here because I do want to limit this axle on how much it comes down. Yeah, so for some of you that are wondering how the suspension's set up, I've got James Duff long arms on this. It's got a Dana44 from I believe it was a 79 F-150. And then I've got James Duff coil spring buckets, and they're moved probably about an inch and a half forward over stock, and these sit 2 inches lower than stock. And with the combination of the solid axle, you get 2 inches of lift with the solid axle right off the bat. You get 2 inches drop on these buckets here, and then I'm running factory 78 springs, stock height springs. These are 2 inches longer than the TTB springs that were in here. So that gives me right around 6 inches of lift. I think I'm about 5 to 5.5, which is kind of where I wanted to be. I didn't want this thing to be crazy tall, so that's kind of where we're at. But yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and remove, just off camera, I'm going to remove one of these, and I actually want to put one of these guys in the back. I got Skyjacker Hydro 7000s, which are what the ones that I have for Greta are. But I want to put one of these in the back because these are 8000s. These are a little bit beefier. So I'm going to put a pair of these in the back. That'll beef up the rear in a little bit because it's getting a little bouncy. I've had those shocks for quite a while and they've been put through the ringer. So, and you can see I'm not really even here. I messed up when I made these hoops. These are supposed to be twisted up a little bit more. So there may be a time where we're going to come in and just cut all this out and either put buckets in or make some kind of hoop system and then run a coil over. But I'm not sure how. I really don't want to cut into all this again, really. So I don't know. I might just get stock coil buckets and then well, I would be able to run basically a factory style shock. I don't know. I got a lot of thoughts in my head about cutting this all out and redoing it. So we may do that. I suppose we could just do a high speed. Let's just do that. Cummins shockolator. Is it bouncier? It's a lot softer. I might actually ride hell of a lot better. Look at these worn hubs. They're just chrome's bubbling and peeling off. That clunk you heard was my jack on the pavement. Okay, that seems a lot softer. That might actually ride a little bit nicer. It doesn't ride too bad, it's just a little firm. It actually, when I first put this axle in, it felt like it rode a lot better than my twin I-beam. I had the stamped steel ones, and I had a 2-inch lift on it without dropping the pivots, and I had stiffer springs in it. It just didn't ride right, so this actually felt a little bit better, but it's definitely firm. Looks like we're starting to get a little lip in our rotor here. Nice. I can get under here and just lift up off a little bit. Like that. Oh. Hey, not bad, not bad. Harbor Freight sells these dental picks. Get them. Especially if you need to clean your teeth. So this, normally on this axle you would have a like 2 or 3 piece spindle nut. On this truck, I did what my friend Todd did, and when he did his solid axle swap, he had these from his TTV axle, and all you got to do is just file this little notch down to fit this one. This one's smaller than the TTV. I don't know why, that's just the way it is. And then you can use this. This is a much better piece, and you don't have to really fart around with too much. It's kind of nice. So what I'm looking for is I want to make sure we're not wearing into our spindle. And this applies to every spindle out there. You know, this is not just a Ford thing. And if you watch Brian Block, or what is the B Block something, I'll post a link to his channel down below. Yeah, he rebuilt I think it's a Dana44 for his Dodge. And he went all detail into the spindle setup, and what he was talking about was on these spindles, when you get a load on this, you know, the bearing wants to spin. So what he talked about was running some kind of Loctite. That way the bearing can chew on the Loctite versus chewing on the spindle. And it looks like we are kind of digging into that a little bit, so it's not too bad right now, but we might want to have to replace these spindles a little bit later. So that goes to show you, when you start running bigger tires, it definitely puts a big load on that. And when you start going to bigger than 35s, like 37s and 40s, that's where you really get into that I should have done a 1-ton swap kind of territory. So I'm going to get in here, look at this bearing. I'm just going to throw some more grease in there. Otherwise the grease looks really good. We get a little spacer thing here. This is just to keep trash out. Bearing looks good so far. Bearing race looks good. I'd get in here and show you, but so I used to have a math teacher that would talk like that. And you're like, can you spit it out? Yeah, I'm just gonna take a wad of grease, dump it down the hatch. Like so. Yeah, there's plenty of grease in there. It obviously looks like it gets warm and like it's supposed to, and because the grease it'll get warm. Sorry, I had a train of thought lost there. The grease will get warm and kind of flow a little bit. Yeah, just put a little wad of grease in there. And we'll put that back on. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Just get a little bit of fresh stuff in there. I'm gonna get a bearing packer for this, but this is cheap and easy. Tab. That thread in there. Okay. Yep, a little messy, but made it in the basket again. A little messy, but this is maintenance you just got to do. Okay, so this what I typically do when I do wheel bearings. You could do the spec, torque spec and everything, but I go by feel. And you want to spin this while you tighten it so that it can settle in. So we're going to have to change our angle here, put some weight on it. And I'm going to zoom you out. Yeah, I'll get all that grease circulating. Luckily these rotors, they got a lot of life left on them. Probably won't ever have to change them. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 pieces over here. We got a grease. We got a ball joint. Tighten that up. Oh yeah, right away. Okay, that's all I needed. Nice. You hear that snap? There's a little bit of water that came out of that too. That's why you gotta grease these up. Okay. This thing works nice. The one I was using before is a Harbor Freight one, about the size. It just, not one of their best tools. Get, come on, get. Oh, that one doesn't want to. That one doesn't want to do anything. Oh, it's doing something. This one's a little harder to grease because it's got a plastic bushing on it that keeps the axle or the steering link from twisting. Okay. Not bad. Okay. We are We are greased up. So that was 30 bucks for that tool, and then another 10 bucks for the grease. I normally use Bigfoot grease, but they just didn't have it at the parts store. Okay, we're gonna move our tools and stuff to the side. I'm gonna put the brakes back on and put the wheel back on, and then we'll continue on. Okay, let's see, were we a 19 up here? Feels like an 18. Why is it what I just said there seem wrong? Still got good backlash on the axle there. That's nice. 18. Yeah, these are Hydro 7000s. I'm gonna retire these. Probably could get my impact in here and spin this off. Uh-oh. We don't have an Eric the Car Guy thing going on, do we? That poor bastard. Anytime he does stuff with control arms and shocks. He has this problem with, you know, bolts just snapping off. And
I'm gonna start by breaking it loose with my wrench. Hopefully breaking it loose. Ooh. Well then, let's give this a try.
You know, they're pretty thick bolts too. Why is this so tight? This is, well, it hasn't been on here that long. Remember, we swapped this axle and we rebuilt it last year. Well, I'm putting some anti-seize on this thing. Could have been from the beach run. Oh, maybe the beach run. A little bit of salt water. Yep. Oh, there we go. Not too bad. Okay. It's supposed to be stiffer going the other way. These are not charged, they're just hydraulic. Come on. Okay. Coincidentally, these Hydro 7000s, or well, yeah, the 7000s and these 8000s that I bought by accident, they actually are the same length, which is actually fine with me because I don't want this axle to droop too far because it's got the stock springs. They're not meant to go super far. I put silicone paste on that upper mount, so it's a little bit easier. Maybe we can do that. Let's get some Tony Shalhoub on here. What is it? Help me understand. Do I sound like Vice Grip Garage? Ah, got it. Whew. What a pain in the ass. Ugh. Okay, I got you guys situated. Let's go for a ride. You guys haven't gone for a ride in Old Betty in a minute. Okay. been on this thing for about 4 or 5 hours now. I fought with the lower shock bolt. It was seized up pretty good, so I had to use some heat and hammering and stuff. I was able to get it out and back in without having to get a new bolt, so I'm happy about that. We have a pair of 8,000s from up front in the back, and so we have 4 shocks total, 1 on each corner. I just greased everything up. All the bearings look good, ball joints are good, tie rods are good, we're all greased up, drive shaft's greased up, all the wheels are rotated, torqued down to 95 foot-pounds. That's what I torque them to. And I think that's what Discount Tire and Schwabe's torques them to, but 95 foot-pounds should be pretty good for 35-inch tire and 15-inch wheel. So yeah, we got good oil pressure, we got brakes, that's always good. Yeah, I've got, you guys are gonna move just a little bit, but the camera will kind of do its anti-shaking stuff, but you shouldn't flop over. I got a pillow kind of squeezed in behind you, so I'll take it easy. Let's see how this thing drives. Yeah, the front end's got a little bit more give just on the braking there, so that's nice. We'll take her around town real quick, make sure we don't have any crunches. Oh yeah, I can tell the front end's softer already. Just that bump was less noticeable. Still crooked. That's how you know you're driving an old Ford, when your steering wheel's crooked. Solid axle or not. I can't adjust mine anymore because of my lack of lift. Oh yeah, that's a lot softer. Town's looking pretty lively for a Friday. Ah, there's that blue piece of shit. Pardon my language, truck. No bumper, no exhaust. I might have a muffler somewhere. Let's go throw it in his truck. So far feels actually solid. Oh yeah, that's way better. That was pretty rough. Pretty rough before. Yeah, I like that. Let's see how she does on timber. Make sure we don't clank and bang and stuff. Sunny and rainy. from last time. We did a little drive along. Well, crap, I didn't do, I'd have to do the route we did the last time. But I can tell the camera's not moving around a lot, or as much. Good whoop-de-doos there. This road's pretty rough. Now we got a gravel road here we're gonna go take a peek on. When I did the suspension video where you get to see the axle move around, this is where we went. Yeah, this is already tons smoother. Yeah. I'm interested to see how this would handle if we put Devers on it. Those Skyjacker 8000s. I know some people don't like Skyjackers. I don't know why. I'm not gonna crappy shots, man. That's a huge improvement. I'm glad we did this. So one thing I want to do to this truck is I want to add hydraulic assist steering on it. And what I mean by that is putting a steering ram and also getting a red head or a blue top steering gear and have it tapped and ported for this steering ram. Todd did that when he got his redhead steering gear, so he's already got ports for it. I'm thinking I'm gonna spend a little money on that. The ram kit is like $350. And then a steering box is probably going to run me another $300. I might take a break from the junkyard truck and order up those parts and maybe do that upgrade to this truck. I think it would make the steering a lot better. It would take a huge load off the steering box and track bar. The track bar is another thing I want to upgrade. This really relaxed front suspension. I think that's what she was a little harsh. Ideally, if I had a 220 welder and did a little practice with fabricating, I would actually like to order a steering kit from Rough Stuff and do a lime jointed steering kit on this. It's not even 5. There's a lot of cars already. Ruh-roh. Just gotta go. I don't want to get on her too bad. truck's front and rear suspension's a little bit more balanced out now. I probably won't modify my rear springs like I had planned with that pack I got from the junkyard. I'm probably going to save those for the junkyard truck. Go through the alleyway. There's a little bit of a whoop-de-doo on this. What I mean by whoop-de-doo is like an uneven spot that kind of jars you around, like right here. Oh yeah, that's not as bad. Not as bad. I'm happy. I'm glad I did that. Ka-choink, ka-choink. Wouldn't that be embarrassing if I got stuck in the alleyway and have to lock my hubs just to move forward? Cool. Well, I'm happy. Thanks for joining me in this video. I totally skipped over doing the valve adjustment. I'm gonna have to save that for later. Probably do it maybe Sunday or something. Tomorrow, or I don't know. I don't know, but for now, seatbelt's in the way. Come on. What's your problem? Why won't you guys look at me? I'm just kidding. So with that, I'm gonna end this video here. I've got basically my big project for this weekend is now done. I really wanted to check out my front bearings and grease up the steering and stuff, grease up the rear drive shaft, but the big thing was I really wanted to try out swapping those rear shocks for a pair that was up front. So overall, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm probably going to leave it alone. I will probably still put limit straps up front, and eventually we're going to figure out what we're going to do for bump stops. I really want to put bump stops in, but we'll save that for another time. With that, thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like the video, and comment down below if you so please, and shoot, we'll see you in the next video.